Good afternoon, class. Today we're going to go ahead and calculate grades for all the students in my gradebook. We're going to start by putting the student's name in column A. Then we're going to go ahead and put the grades in for quiz 1, 2, 3, and 4 for each student. And then I'll just go down the list on each column. And then I'll just scroll over and put in quiz 2 grades. And then finally, quiz 3 is next. And then finally, quiz 4. Oh, be careful about that. 85 and then 76. And then just to calculate the first student's average, I'm going to go ahead and highlight boxes A, B, C, D, and E. I'm going to go over here to the auto sum column and click on average. And her average grade is a 77 in this class. And then when as far as which student has the highest grade, we're going to go ahead and just do the average for all students. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight all columns. Let's see if I can just get it to just say average. There we go. And then average all of their grades. So far, the highest average in the class is Kim. She has a 90.75. And then what student has the lowest grade on quiz 3? I think it's going to be Brittany. She has a grade of a 75. Okay, let's see if we can go ahead and average out Sydney's weighted average. And what we're going to do is put in the equal sign and then B11 times 10 plus C, actually has a plus sign, plus C11 times 10 plus D11 times 40 plus E11 times 40. Then we're going to do equal sign. It's giving us a 87.90. See if I can possibly get it to have the decimal in there. Yeah, I can't get it to put the decimal in there. Let me go back and double check my work to make sure it's right. Yeah, but that's her grade. Let me see if I can put the decimal in manually. And then let's see if we can actually highlight all the grades. Not all the grades have popped up. They don't have a decimal in between them, unfortunately. But if you put the decimal right between the first two numbers and the last two numbers, like for Lauren, her weighted average will be a 72.80, which basically means a 72 as her grade. And then if we come down for David, his grade would be a 72.5. And then Angela's, hers will be at 81.7. Sydney's will be at 88, and so on and so forth. So Sydney's average grade was an 87.9. And if we were to look at which students had the highest average grades, it would actually be in there right next to each other. Uh, Sydney has an 88, and then Jennifer has a 95.8. Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look at the quizzes. Which quiz, let's see, the students perform the best on. So we're going to find the average for all the quizzes, and let's see as a total has the highest average for the quizzes. I'm going to go ahead to auto sum and click on average. So it seems like quiz number 2 had the highest average when it comes to students' test scores. On quiz 2, 86.7, and these actually have the decimals in there for us already, unlike the weighted average. Okay, now let's see if we can actually find the weighted average for the class, the whole entire class. Let's see if I can highlight the entire class. Let's see if it'll let us do the weighted average. And it did. The weighted average for the whole entire class will be at 83.07. The average for them will be 83.7, and then the weighted average will be 83.07. And what it did, we had duplicated the average that we've already calculated before on the same row, so we can just have all totals at the bottom. Let's see if we can go ahead and put it in a chart form. And that's the chart. It has the name, quiz 1, quiz 2, quiz 3, quiz 4, average, and weighted average. But we just want to go ahead and do just the weighted average, which are the taller bars. So it's this one, and they're taller because we don't have that decimal in there, unfortunately. And then we're going to just take out the other information out of the system, so you can just see only the weighted average. So all we have is the name and the weighted average, and it is a little high because my column doesn't have the decimal in it. But we know that you put the decimal right in between the four numbers, between the first two and the last two, and that's what gives you their weighted average. Okay, and this is how we record our grades. Usually, like I said, they have a decimal in between, and we would put that between the first two and the last two. But other than that, after we put in the student's name and all their grades, we use the auto e column in order to show us how to calculate all the grades, and then we calculate them for them. Okay, and that's how you do that. Bye.